So talk a little bit about, again, if you're advising entrepreneurs, who do you want to do your work? Do you want a junior person because they're lower rate? How do you sort of manage that trade-off as a client?
You want someone who's going to use their business judgment to try to get you the most efficient team. And sometimes that does mean you don't want somebody who's billing $600 an hour drafting your minutes. At the same time, you don't want a young associate making some important strategic decisions about which way the deal is headed. If you're going to interview 3 or 4 different attorneys and pick one, every single one's going to say, "Yeah, I'm your person. I'm going to be involved. I'm going to be on top of the deal." Most of the time, that's not always the case, and so everyone's going to kind of say the right things, usually in the pitch, as far as we'll be efficient, we'll get the team right, and it's really you have to try to find somebody who's worked with that attorney before. And ask them for a referral list. I get people calling my referrals all the time, and call the list and find out. Just say, was this person really personally involved, or did they just give it to an associate? Did they stay overly involved so that your deal was twice as expensive as it had to be, or were they efficient the way they set up the team? I'm always surprised. You don't need as big of a team as you think, and this has always been my experience, both running deals and actually looking at the way bankers do deals. There's lots of deals where it can be me and one associate, especially a startup company in venture financing. Even a big merger. I mean, we just completed a very, very sizable merger that luckily Arbor referred our way, and it was me and one associate and one paralegal. And the other side, most calls would have 5 to 6 attorneys on the line. Mm-hmm. We had to work a little bit harder and do it that way, but the client could never complain I wasn't personally involved. And so I think you can keep the teams a little leaner than maybe some firms approach it. But you really have to reach out and try to find people who've worked with them before. Because lawyers will say a lot of things when they're in the pitch mode, and then you've got to see, okay, what happens. If it's an incredible name like a Larry Sonsini, incredible name, but the guy represents some of the biggest tech companies on the planet. Is he really going to be able to spend a lot of time with you on your startup? Or do you find somebody who maybe has a couple big clients but reserves a lot of time for startup companies?
Yeah.
So that's part of the analysis.